What if I told you right now that the key to unlocking your full potential lies within the concept of motivation? Motivation, a powerful force that drives our behavior, shapes our decisions, and fuels our dreams. It's an essential component in our quest for success and achievement. This invisible force comes in two flavors: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation, the kind that springs from within, fueled by personal interest, passion, and the sheer joy of doing. It's like an internal compass guiding us towards what truly matters to us. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation is driven by external factors, like rewards or punishments. It's the proverbial carrot and stick, pushing or pulling us towards a particular course of action. Understanding these two types of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic, can be the key to unlocking our full potential. It's like having a roadmap to success, a guide to navigating the twists and turns of life's journey. Stay tuned as we delve into the depths of these two types of motivation and discover how they can shape your life. Imagine doing something simply because you love it. That, my friends, is intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is a fascinating concept, an internal drive that propels us to act not because of external rewards or punishments, but because we find the activity itself rewarding. It's about doing something purely out of interest and enjoyment, like reading a captivating novel, painting a stunning landscape, or solving a challenging puzzle. This form of motivation is fueled by our personal passions and interests. It's the spark that ignites when we're engrossed in an activity that we find genuinely fascinating. It's the thrill of curiosity, the joy of discovery, the satisfaction of mastery. It's the force that drives us to keep going, to keep exploring, to keep learning, even when no one else is watching or applauding. Intrinsically motivated actions often lead to deeper understanding, greater creativity, and higher quality work. They foster an enduring thirst for knowledge, a love of challenge, and a resilience in the face of setbacks. They're activities we do, even if we weren't paid or praised for them. But the beauty of intrinsic motivation doesn't stop there. Studies suggest that this internal drive can lead to long-term success. Why? Because when we're intrinsically motivated, we're more likely to persist in the face of challenges, we're more adaptive, and we're more committed to our tasks. We're not just going through the motions, we're fully engaged, and that makes all the difference. Intrinsic motivation, therefore, is your internal compass, guiding you towards your passion and interests. It's the drive that keeps you focused and engaged, the fuel that sustains your journey towards mastery and fulfillment. It's the key to unlocking your full potential and achieving long-term success. So, find your passion, embrace your interests, and let your intrinsic motivation guide you on your path to success. Intrinsic motivation, therefore, is your internal compass, guiding you towards your passion and interests. Now, think about doing something because of the reward that awaits you at the end. This is what we call extrinsic motivation. Extrinsic motivation is all about the external factors that drive us. It's the dangling carrot, the gold star on your homework, the applause after a performance, the pay raise at work. It's motivation that comes from outside of us, rather than from within our own interest or enjoyment in the task. It's like when you're running a marathon and you're about to give up, but then you see the finish line in the distance, the cheering crowd, the medal waiting for you at the end. That's extrinsic motivation, pushing you to keep going. Extrinsic motivation can be incredibly powerful. It can provide the immediate boost we need to improve our performance. It's often used in workplaces, schools, and sports teams to encourage better results. It can be the spark that ignites action, pushing us to go the extra mile. However, like anything in life, it has its potential pitfalls. While extrinsic motivation can drive us to achieve short-term goals, it might not be as effective for long-term success. That's because once the reward is received, or the punishment is avoided, the motivation can decrease. Imagine you're studying for an exam only because you want a good grade. Once you've aced the test, the motivation to keep learning might disappear. You've achieved your goal, so why continue? This is where the importance of intrinsic motivation comes in, to keep the flame of learning burning bright, even after the extrinsic reward has been obtained. Extrinsic motivation can also lead to a phenomenon known as over-justification. This is when an external reward undermines our intrinsic interest in an activity. For instance, if you love painting and then start getting paid for it, you might find that you enjoy painting less when you're not getting paid. So, while extrinsic motivation is a powerful tool, it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It can push us to achieve immediate goals, but for long-term success and personal fulfillment, it's crucial to also find that intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within. While extrinsic motivation can be a powerful tool, it's important to balance it with intrinsic motivation for sustained success. Have you ever wondered how setting goals can boost your motivation? Let's delve into the importance of setting SMART goals. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. These aren't just fancy words, they are key principles that can provide focus and drive. Imagine you're on a journey, but you don't have a destination. You'd be wandering aimlessly, wouldn't you? That's what life is like without goals. Goals give us a clear destination, a point to strive towards. They anchor our efforts and give us a sense of direction. But not just any goals, they need to be SMART. A specific goal is one that is well-defined and clear. Instead of saying, I want to get fit, say, I want to run 5 miles without stopping. See the difference? The latter is specific and gives you a clear target to aim for. A measurable goal is one that can be quantified. It's easier to track your progress when you can measure it. For instance, if you're aiming to read more books, set a goal to read at least 2 books a month. This way, you can easily gauge your progress. An achievable goal is one that is realistic. There's no point setting a goal to run a marathon next week if you've never run a mile. Your goals should challenge you, but they should also be within your reach. A relevant goal is one that aligns with your broader life goals. If your ultimate goal is to become a published author, then reading more books is a relevant goal. A time-bound goal is one that has a deadline. Deadlines create a sense of urgency and prompt us to act. If you want to finish reading a book, set a deadline for when you'll finish it. SMART goals can stimulate both intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. They spark your internal drive by giving you a clear, achievable target to aim for. They also provide external motivation by creating a sense of urgency and prompting you to act. Remember, a goal without a plan is just a wish. So let's start planning, and let's start achieving. Let's explore a theory that suggests meeting certain psychological needs can sustain intrinsic motivation. This theory is known as the self-determination theory. It's a fascinating concept that posits 3 vital psychological needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. These are the pillars that can fuel our intrinsic motivation and ultimately our drive to succeed. First, let's talk about autonomy. This is our need to control our own lives, to make decisions that affect us, and to feel that we are the architects of our own fate. When we feel autonomous, we're more likely to pursue our passions and interests, driving our intrinsic motivation. Next is competence. This is our need to master skills and overcome challenges. It's that fulfilling feeling when we conquer a difficult task or learn something new. When we feel competent, we're more likely to take on challenges, sparking our intrinsic motivation to improve and excel. Finally, we have relatedness. This is our need to connect with others, to feel a sense of belonging. It's the shared experiences, the meaningful relationships, the sense of community. When we feel relatedness, we're more likely to engage in activities that bring us closer to others, fueling our intrinsic motivation to contribute and participate. Understanding these needs is not just about knowing what drives us. It's about recognizing what fulfills us, what gives us satisfaction. When we meet these needs, we don't just feel motivated. We feel content, satisfied, and fulfilled. We grow, not just as individuals, but as members of our community. By addressing these needs, we can stoke the fires of our intrinsic motivation, leading us towards achievement and fulfillment. Motivation, both intrinsic and extrinsic, can be a powerful force in our lives. This force, when understood and harnessed, can be the key to unlocking our full potential. It can drive us to pursue our passions, to push our boundaries, and to achieve our goals, whether they're personal or professional. Intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, can be fueled by our personal interests, passions, and desires. It's the joy we get from doing what we love. On the other hand, extrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from outside, can be influenced by rewards or punishments. It's the push we get from seeing the tangible benefits of our efforts. And let's not forget the role of SMART goals in focusing our drive. Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals give our motivation a clear direction. Lastly, the self-determination theory tells us that meeting our psychological needs for autonomy, competence, and relatedness can sustain our intrinsic motivation, leading to long-term success. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about self-improvement, subscribe to Online with Teresa. I'd love to hear your thoughts on motivation, so don't forget to leave a comment below.